Are you feeling lost and trying to figure out what type of job you actually want? Well, I'm JobJane and I have been in recruiting for about 18 years now. I started in staffing for 5 years, and ever since then I've been in corporate recruiting. So I was hoping I could maybe give you a little advice of where to start. First, let's start with a list of things that you're good at. This could be anything from math to science to understanding technology, either hardware or software. It could be helping others, communicating, negotiating, getting people to participate in something, listening to others, finding solutions, or so many other things. So think about not only those tangible skills, but maybe those soft skills as well. Things that nobody might think of, but you realize that you're good at, like maybe organizing. I'm really good at finding things, and I've learned that over time about myself as just an example. Next, you're going to go ahead and make a list of things or industries that are interesting to you. This might be a little tougher because you're like, well, there's so many different industries. How do I figure out what actually interests me? Maybe you might even want to start with, what type of videos do you like to watch when you're on YouTube or TikTok? Or what type of TV shows are you drawn towards? Do you like home renovation? Do you like technology, travel? Maybe something in the medical field? Something about solving mysteries? Do you like working with kids or animals? Or education, that's another area too. There are so many different industries out there. And the interesting part is you may not actually even care about the industry. You might like the job you do, and it doesn't matter where you do it, which is kind of where I find myself as a recruiter. I can work in any industry, and I find it so interesting to change industries and learn about a new one because they're all so different, but I can do my job anywhere, which is pretty fun. Next, you're going to go ahead and think of requirements. This is the area that is going to help you rule out anything that might not be a good fit for you. Let's start with location. Are you somewhere where you're going to need to commute to a job? Is that something you can do? Is it by public transportation, by car? Do you need to go somewhere by bike or walking? So think about what locations are going to be okay for you. The next is going to thinking about hours. Are you looking for an 8 to 5 type of job? Are you okay working weekends or nights or holidays? Are you okay working overnight shift? Because that's definitely something that you need to take into consideration when you're looking at which jobs will work for you. Another thing you're going to think about is travel. Are you able to travel? And if so, how much? If you already have a family or a spouse, make sure to take that into consideration as well, because it might make it a little more complicated. Make sure that if you have a spouse, they're on board with it as well. And lastly, you're going to look at benefits. If you are still on your parents' benefits, this may not be a big deal at all for you, and it makes it so that you can actually take bigger risks. You could probably work at startups that maybe don't have great benefits because it's not something that's important to you, which can be a great opportunity if that startup ends up getting bigger and you can really grow with it and learn a lot. But if you're somebody that needs benefits, you've got multiple kids and a spouse, then you really need to take that into consideration too and look at companies that have that available to you. So take a look at these requirements and look at your interests and your skills and start cross-referencing them. You can go ahead and take all this information and start writing out possible areas that might be interesting to you. But if you're still feeling stuck, go ahead and log into Indeed or LinkedIn and start putting some keywords in there. You can put one of the things that you're interested in, or maybe one of your skills, and just see some of the job titles that start popping up. See what piques your interest, and then look at the requirements for those jobs to see if that's something you can do. Maybe if you do have previous work experience, go ahead and put that in as one of the keywords and see what pops up as that fits the requirements for these jobs. You may find job titles you've never heard of and didn't even know things were a job that may actually really interest you. Or you may also think that you know all the job titles that are similar to what you do and find that there are actually some other ones too. So just go ahead and take a look and see what's there, and you'll start finding some that look interesting to you. So make notes of this. Another step is to look for people you may know that have similar job titles of the ones that you think are interesting, and see if you can ask them about it. Find out more about these positions, because sometimes you may not see something on the job description, but after you talk to somebody, you're like, oh, I don't think I can actually do that. Or, oh, wow, that actually sounds way more interesting than I thought it was. So try to find some people. If you find someone on LinkedIn that you don't know that has this job title, feel free to reach out to them. Ask them if you can just kind of pick their brain about this industry you're trying to get into, or this job area that sounds interesting to you, and see if you can ask them some questions. It's great to do your research ahead of time, because what you don't want is taking a job that you think sounds interesting and then later find out that it's not what you thought it was at all. So it's good to get ahead of it and try to do some research. So I hope this helps.